A peaceful college campus, a charismatic speaker, and then chaos. In broad daylight, Charlie Kirk, one of America's most influential and controversial political voices, was shot and killed while speaking to a crowd of thousands. Why did this happen? Who is being held responsible? And what does this mean for the future of political discourse in America? This is the story of the Charlie Kirk assassination, the political event that shook the nation. Stay tuned. But before that, welcome to the channel Cracked by Moise. Please hit subscribe button for more interesting content. Let's start. Charlie Kirk was a well-known conservative political activist and co-founder of Turning Point USA, an organization focused on engaging young voters and conservative students. He rose to prominence as a commentator, author, and speaker known for his passionate speeches and ability to attract large crowds. At just 31 years old, he had become one of the most recognizable voices in American conservative politics, with millions of followers on social media and a regular presence on TV and podcasts. On the 10th of September 2025, Kirk traveled to Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, for what was billed as part of his American Comeback Tour, a live event with Q&A, debates, and discussions with students and supporters. Around 12:23 p.m. local time, with roughly 3,000 people in attendance, Kirk was addressing the audience outdoors under a tent. Then, in a moment that stunned the crowd, a shot rang out. He was struck and immediately rushed to a nearby hospital where he was later pronounced dead. Authorities quickly secured the campus. Law enforcement from local and federal agencies, including the FBI, launched an investigation into the shooting. WUSF. Initially, there was confusion about suspects, but within days, 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson was arrested in connection with the killing and later charged with aggravated murder and several other offenses. At a December 2025 court appearance in Provo, Utah, Robinson made his first in-person hearing, as prosecutors planned to pursue the death penalty. The court proceedings have drawn enormous media attention, raising questions about media access versus fair trial rights. A judge has been weighing restrictions on cameras and public coverage. Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, has publicly supported open courtroom transparency, saying the nation deserves to see justice served, while the defense has cautioned that too much exposure could affect juror impartiality. The assassination of Charlie Kirk didn't just send shock waves through Utah, it exploded across the entire nation within minutes. Cable news networks went wall to wall. Political commentators, celebrities, lawmakers, even people who had long opposed Kirk's views, everyone had something to say. And the reactions ranged from heartbreak to outrage to heated political debate. For many, Charlie Kirk was a voice of conservatism they deeply admired. To them, this was not just a political assassination but an attack on free speech itself. They argued that violence against any political figure threatens the foundation of democracy. But at the same time, the tragedy exposed a darker side of polarization. Social media became a battleground. Some accounts used the moment to score political points. Others spread conspiracies within hours, questioning motives, evidence, even the authenticity of the event itself. The incident raised urgent questions about security at universities. Should political speakers have Secret Service style protection? Are open campus events too vulnerable? Should schools limit controversial speakers, or would that undermine free expression? Some universities responded by increasing security presence. Others postponed planned guest speakers altogether, citing heightened safety concerns. Even student organizations found themselves debating their responsibilities when hosting political figures. Kirk's death became more than a news story, it became a moment of national self reflection. Commentators asked, "Are we becoming too divided to talk?" too angry to debate, too invested in our own side to recognize the humanity of the other. No matter where Americans stood politically, almost everyone agreed on one thing: this should never have happened. Beyond all the political commentary, one truth remains: Charlie Kirk was a husband, a father, and a friend, and while the world debated his ideas, his family was facing an unthinkable reality. His wife, Erica Kirk, addressed the public only after several days of silence. She spoke through tears about the moment she received the news, describing it as a nightmare that didn't end after waking up. He thanked those who prayed for her family while firmly condemning those who celebrated the tragedy online. She called their reactions disturbing, emphasizing that behind every headline is a real family whose entire world has been shattered. Vigils were held across the political spectrum, some by supporters, others by students who said they didn't agree with him but believed no one deserved to face violence for expressing their beliefs. For some, Charlie Kirk's legacy is tied to his influence on young conservatives. For others, it's a reminder of the intense divisions in America. But for his family, his friends, and his colleagues, his legacy is personal: a life cut short, a mission unfinished. Why this case changed the conversation? By this point, one thing becomes clear: this wasn't just another breaking news headline that faded after a few days. The killing of Charlie Kirk marked a turning point in how Americans think about political speech, especially on college campuses. Over the years, universities were seen as places for debate where controversial ideas were challenged with words, not violence. But after this incident, many people began asking a hard question: is it still safe to openly disagree in public? Event organizers across the country quietly admitted they were rethinking security. Some speakers cancelled appearances, others demanded stricter protection, and students on both sides of the political aisle started wondering whether passion had crossed a dangerous line. But perhaps the most unsettling part of this case wasn't what happened at the event, it was what happened after. The internet reacted instantly. Within minutes, theories spread faster than facts. Some people rushed to judgment, others turned tragedy into content. In moments like these, the truth often struggles to be heard above the noise, and that's what makes this case so important. Because when a society can't slow down long enough to process loss with empathy, it risks losing something far more valuable than political arguments: its humanity. This is why the Charlie Kirk case continues to resonate, not because everyone agreed with him, but because what happened forces us to confront how we treat those we disagree with. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is one of the most significant political tragedies in recent American history. It raises difficult questions about free speech, political anger, the role of universities, and the future of public discourse. As the investigation continues and the court case unfolds, many hope this moment will serve as a wake up call, a reminder that disagreement should never turn into violence. So, what do you think this means for America's future? Will this tragedy bring people together or push them further apart? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive story.